You just did an episode at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big sports guy.
That place was insane, man.
How fucked was that place?
Dude, I feel like I jumped 20 years ahead. The area it's in is all dead, right? It's all just like land.
Yeah.
And then you just see this massive...
It's like an alien ship.
Oh my God, it was beautiful, man.
Welcome to episode 16 of the podcast. This is a big one. This is a big one. Ernesto, I just Gaita. How do you say Gaita?
Gaita.
From where in Italy?
My dad's from Calabria, my mom's from Rome.
Shit. My gun off.
Everyone hide your wallets, boys.
Yeah. This is a big one. We've been trying to do this for a while, Ernesto.
I know. You're so patient with me, bro. I appreciate you.
No, but for good reason you're busy.
Yes.
You're the first, I think, guest that is a podcaster of mine. So I feel special about this. This is a big one. And I'm honored that you came on the pod. I know you follow me, so you see a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
This might hurt your brand. I'm not going to lie.
No, listen, you cannot hurt my brand at this point. I tried hard. No, it's not that. It's just that my brand is that one of those brands that you can't hurt because I don't care what people think.
You're not cancel culture. You're cancel culture.
Uncancelable.
Yeah, it's a double negative.
There you go.
Welcome to the pod, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I'm going to teach you a little Arabic on this one.
Let's do it. I need it.
Yalla habibi. I'm sure you know this.
Yalla habibi.
So I told Ernesto to get us Chase. He said no. So this Casamigos is going down like water right now. So everyone meet us out after. We're going to get fucked.
Yep.
Ernesto.
Yep.
Tell me about you before the pod, before you became a famous podcaster. You're born and raised in Toronto?
Yeah.
Tell me about you as a person and on the scene, who you were. Because I know that's kind of how we met in the nightclub industry, but I want to give you the floor to tell us who you are as a person before you became a successful podcaster.
Yeah, I think if we were to go back maybe to when I was like a teenager, I loved soccer. I was a big soccer guy. I played soccer my whole life. I always liked getting people's attention in a weird way where if I knew that, people would know me for a certain reason or people would like me for a certain reason, I liked that. I was drawn to that. So even in high school, I was always trying to meet more people, connect with the older guys, shit like that. I was a very social guy. I was always trying to make friends.
That's my kind of guy.
I fucked with school a little bit. I liked school just because I got to meet so many people. Went to 3 different universities.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Those credits moved with you?
Some of them didn't. That's why I had to do 3. So finally gave up on the dream of soccer. And I started going out into different nightclubs and going out downtown and meeting people. And I really enjoyed the social aspect of nightlife.
Yes, for sure. That's the funnest part.
Yeah, and I saw the power that I had too by being able to help people get into clubs very early on.
Yeah.
So they're like, wait, you can help me get into that club? And you're like 19, 20, right?
Isn't it funny? I don't want to cut you off.
No.
Isn't
Go
it
ahead.
funny how people think like it's such a big thing to like, oh, you're getting me in? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to wait in the line.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm arrogant in the sense because, when we go.
Of course.
Right? We don't go and buy bottles at the bar. We go
Yeah.
and get a booth and everything. So, but isn't it funny?
Now looking back, it's funny because you look at it and it's like, okay, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I think at that time when I was like 20 maybe, that was like the next thing for that age group, right? It's like, okay, we're going out now. Like, who do we ask? So I saw an opportunity there where I'm like, oh, okay, like if I can be the guy for all these people that I already know, they'll keep coming to me. I can make money, but I can also do something I like doing. Sorry. Tequila's already getting to me. So I started in nightlife, man. That was how I started building a network, started learning about marketing, started learning about social media, the power of social media.
Just starting then, right? We're talking what, 17, 18, something like that?
Oh, I was like 18, 19, bro. I remember my first deal with the club, which was hilarious if you compare it to my last deal before I stopped promoting.
You don't have to name names, but I want to know the
I will never name names. But the first deal I got...
You know who you are, by the way.
The first deal I got, I was working as a sub-promoter under another promoter. You know how that works, right?
Wow,
There's the main promoter.
Sublease.
I was getting subleased out, right? And I would bring as many people as I could, maybe 30, 40 people at that time. And I would get $20 cash, right?
Per head?
No, $20 flat.
Wait,
and this was Cobra. Do you remember Cobra?
Oh my God, Cobra.
Yeah. So I would get paid $20 flat just to show up, bring as many people as I could. The funny thing was I got a comp bottle and I had to tip the bottle service girl the $20.
You were losing money.
So no, I actually broke even.
And
I was breaking even. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did I just break even?
You got a bottle free, yeah.
And then obviously fast forward, I started learning more about that. And by the end of it, we were just doing flat fees, a couple $1,000 just to show up to the club.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the amount of money I would have saved if I became a promoter. But I didn't have in Arabic, the word is jledi. I didn't have the, like, you know, I didn't have I want to go party and leave.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to count numbers at the end of the day. I don't want to get an envelope.
True.
But I
well,
commend you.
shout out Sako because he taught me a lot about that.
Shout out Sack, on a plane to Vegas right now. I love you. I wish I could be there.
Enjoy Vegas, baby.
Yeah. And don't enjoy too much, eh?
But that's how I started. And I fell in love with nightlife. I fell in love with bringing people together. I think that's something that I always like doing.
Oh my God, that's the energy, good energy.
Yeah.
You know, and then has it changed the city? You see it now in 23.
Of course,
7-8 years ago.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I mean, from when I started promoting, even just pre-pandemic, the city was on a wave, right? We were throwing events. We were doing. You could go out any night of the week, and every place was slammed.
Yes.
With new people, though. That's the key thing. With new people as well. So for sure, the pandemic almost killed hospitality. I have a lot of respect for anyone that's still around and kicking it and doing their thing, because it's not easy, bro.
100%, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And the pandemic changed a lot. I think Canada got a lot worse. I know a lot of us made our way down south to Florida. I know we were just talking about, we made a couple of investments in Florida. My brother moved to Florida. You're kind of halfway Toronto, Florida now.
So I have my visa, which I can be pretty much full-time in Florida if I want. I have the business here with Neighborhood, so I like to come back a little bit. But Florida is like, if you're talking about south of Florida, you're talking about Miami, Fort Lauderdale, any of those places, they're just booming right now. The people love it, and there's so many people
coming around. We love you, eh?
Yeah, Ron's killing it. So yeah, we made a move down there too. We bought a house down there. We were there, I would say, from last year, maybe we were there 6-7 months of the year. Yeah, so we're there a lot. It's just so much more opportunity.
Let me tell you, have a little puff of this. Let me tell you. So in the heart of COVID, like May 2020, my brother goes, come down, let's go. So I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just come down. And then Jamil, I think you know Jamil.
Yeah.
My really good friend.
Yeah.
Jamil Wakil, love you.
He's killing it. He's killing it.
Yeah. Professional poker player. Followed his dreams, and I love him. You're on the pod soon, Jimmy, when you're done all the poker fun. But he's like, come to Florida. Like, he has a place down there in Palm Beach. I was shocked. I land. This is coming from Canada.
Yeah.
Mask, 10 feet away.
Of course.
This and that. He goes, come meet me at the Strawberry Moon. I'm like, what is that, a fucking grocery store? Like,
Good Time Hotel, yeah.
I was like, in the Good Time Hotel. Shout out Dave Grutman. You're coming soon, too.
My guy.
You did Dave,
Of course.
Yeah, Dave's the best. I walk in there, and I'm coming from a place where, like, you couldn't go see your grandmother.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to your grandmother's house. They said, don't go near old people. Bro, I get to the Good Time Hotel. 3,000 people. Just on top of each other.
On top of each other.
Just
bro.
licking each
Making
other
out,
off,
licking their toes, everything, bro.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on in the world? We can't go next door in Canada and Toronto. Toronto, Miami, similar, like, gonna.
This big city.
Big city vibe.
Yeah.
And I could not believe it. I'm
know.
like, wow. I'm like, these people, I don't know if they had it figured out. I said, for sure, I'm going to get it. I'm getting it here for sure. You know how the mindset was. You watch the media, this and that. But that changed my mindset when I went on that trip. And I just said, fuck, the world is still running. And why are we going to stop even if we're at home doing nothing? Literally, we're doing nothing. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're doing nothing. Yep. Government was giving you $2,000 every 2 weeks or whatever. We were doing nothing. But people got complacent. People got lazy. So like you said, for the people that made it through COVID, we love you. And to see where Toronto's on its way back, it's not fully there yet.
It's going to take some work.
It has to. It's going to take some work.
And it's going to take a lot of bravery from business owners to actually get back out there after what happened.
A lot of people lost a lot, eh? A lot of people
Of course, man. Everyone. I had a restaurant. We shut down the restaurant during the pandemic. All the clients that I had, like, it's so sad to see all these restaurants and tattoo shops.
All the bottle servers.
All these small businesses.
Agents. All the bottle servers.
We know.
Real estate agents.
We know.
Taking 2%.
They listen. They adapted. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
We commend them.
But we did the same thing. We kind of, when the pandemic hit a couple months later, we went straight to Tulum. And when we went there, we noticed that nothing was wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, then we said, okay, maybe it's just Mexico. Maybe they don't give a fuck to that extreme. We came back, we went to Miami, everything was normal. And then I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, the world.
What kind of games we playing here, right? So I think if you left during the pandemic and you saw somewhere else, and you came back, you're like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to discount the actual virus because people got sick, people did die, whatever. Of course. It was a real thing. But I mean, a lot of it was personal. The variable was the person, right? Like you have someone that's old, that's sick. You have someone that's young.
With everything, though. With everything.
It's all very dependent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think I'm so happy that I want to say it's done. I mean, people are still doing tests and getting, I don't know. It's just, you get sick. We all got sick before COVID.
Yep.
And it is what it is. And that's just, it's funny. on the first 15 episodes, and somewhere or another it came up.
Yeah.
The pandemic.
Of course
So I was
it did.
interviewing a restaurateur.
Yeah.
I shut down.
Of
Or if I was
course.
interviewing a person, like I did Donna Vici, my last episode. She's like, well, I was in marketing and I had my dream job, and then COVID hit, and that's how she decided that techno music was her calling.
Yep.
So it hit people differently, and some people made really good career choices off it. Some people suffered, but it is what it is. It's done now. It's gone. We're here now. We're on
COVID free.
COVID free. Thank God. No more masks. Please, no more masks. But more about your life. So you did the promoting.
Yeah.
And then what made you click? What made the thing that like, oh, I got to start a pod and I got to like what? Tell me about that.
So I think
that
the first thing that happened was I was in nightlife, and I felt like I was at the top of my game in nightlife, and I felt like I maxed out what I could possibly do in terms of being a promoter.
Did you ever think about like your own place?
I never wanted my own place.
Too much headache. Yeah.
I saw what other club owners would go through, and I saw their lifestyle, and I saw how they moved, and I saw that, and everyone can make their own choices in life, and I just didn't like that, right? And I was making a lot of money. I was making almost as much as an owner.
Some of them promoters do. They do. Yes.
Without the stress.
Right.
Right. So I was like, why do that? Right. I'm still young, but I always thought this is going to end someday. You got to figure out a date it's going to end. And I was forced to stop during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I actually had a party booked that week after. It was St. Patty's Day.
March, right?
Yeah.
March.
I had a special event that I had to cancel. Yeah. And then after that, I'm like, I think I'm done promoting. Right. And I already had Neighborhood by then. Neighborhood, it has its own story of how it started. Anthony and me were working together, and he pretty much... Shout out Anth, bro. That's my fucking guy.
You're coming on the pod too.
My brother.
One half of Money Buys Happiness.
That's
Anth
it.
is the other half.
So he came to me earlier on before the podcast while we were promoting and said, hey, listen, like I see what you're doing. I see how many people you know. I see how many people ask you for things and you just help them. So people would call me all day. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need someone that's going to paint my house. Hey, I need someone that's going to wrap my car. I need someone that can, I need a restaurant to go to tonight. And I would help everyone.
You had the connections from
right
the industry. Right?
In return, hoping they would come out with me when they go out. And he was like, wait, that's crazy because I just heard the last 20 phone calls you did and you could have made money off that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, talk to me about it. And then we pretty much worked for a year straight in my basement and we came up with Neighborhood. And we're a full service marketing agency now. So we started with that. I was still promoting while we had Neighborhood. Pandemic hits. I'm like, okay, I'm not promoting anymore. What are we going to do? Anthony comes to me and he says, why don't we start a podcast?
That was the time.
And I said, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Who cares? We have nothing else to do.
Home. Yeah,
You're nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So we started the pod then, man. And the first things that we're going off about was the politics and everything. And we started that right away, bro.
Yeah. The talk to me as I'm still a rookie. I'm 15 episodes in. I mean, I feel like my personality was built for this, but when you guys started, I do some episodes and I'm like, okay, that one's not gonna hit. That one's this, that one's that. I don't want to do this one. Am I putting money down the tube, for example?
Sure.
So how did you get over, especially doing it during COVID?
Yeah.
When I don't want to say I can monetize the pod in a way, but the fact that I can do the pod, we're going out after, and I don't want to say I'm a celebrity now, but like people recognize me because of the pod.
Of course.
Right?
Of course they will.
It's so, but there's still a part of me that's like, okay, hopefully the hope is eventually to be somewhere where you are, which is signed and pumping out great episodes with great people. But do you ever get like you hit a wall and you're doing this for nothing?
I mean, it's all relative to where we were at that point, right? Like we would do a podcast and we would get like 30 views, right? And we thought that was a lot at that time, right? Because we're like, hold on, there's 30 people listening to our whole conversation.
Fair enough. 30 people's 30
so it was more perspective at that point, right? Anytime we would kind of hit a wall or feel like, we never did it for money. Even though it's called Money Buys Happiness, we never did it to make money. And like, we never even thought about that. We were just like, okay, who should we get on next? Why? What are they going to talk about? So our main thing at the beginning was saying, okay, how can we make sure that the person watching gets something from this episode? That was the only thing we thought about. Then from there, we started moving and saying, you know what? We're going to be doing this. Me and Anthony had a conversation and we said, okay, how long do we want to do this? And we both said the same thing. We said, bro, as long as we fucking want. Yeah. We're not here for a short term. So one episode's not going to do much. Whether it's a great guest or not. Even if it's a killer episode, it's not going to change your life. So you got to keep going. And we were doing things smart too, right? We were very strategic, very calculated when it came to that. Okay, we're going to bring this guy on because I know if we bring this person on, that person's going to see and we can now reach out to that person and have a better chance. Right. So we were very calculated with that as well. And then the guests, we were just trying to bring variety. So any kind of person, because we realize that our audience is a mix of everyone. There's people that like.
That's the thing. People always ask me, "Oh, you have a what is it about?"
Yeah.
You know, people want this niche podcast market.
Yeah.
You know, real estate or nightclub. I said, my life is
those
grand.
work too. Those work
They
too.
The niche works.
But like it depends on the person that's the host. You are not a host that's gonna do a niche podcast. I'll tell you that now. Like I already know you can know that just from the person, right? Yeah. And I just think that when we started, it was a different time. That was 3 years ago. So we did start with a niche.
Yeah.
We started with saying, okay, we're going to talk business and marketing. That lasted maybe 15, 20 episodes. And then we said, okay, you know what? Why don't we talk about this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? The best thing you could do is talk about what you like to talk about. Because that's when people will see it. Oh, this guy's being genuine. I can tell. Right? We've had many podcasts. We work with them. We work for them where it's so interview style. Where it's like, yeah, I have my 20 questions here. Let's go. Yeah. Right? Where it's like, okay, like I get it, but no one's going to believe that. No one's going to watch them and be like, yeah, I believe what this guy's saying. Or I believe what the host is saying. You can tell it's disingenuine. So I think when it comes to the podcast and your episodes, don't think too much about one episode in particular. Because there's no point. That episode's here and it's gone. The only reason you're doing that episode is to give you momentum for the next one.
Right. 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Cheers to that, though.
Centane, Kesa.
Centane.
Centane.
Right? So, and even for you, it's a learning experience too, because you can have a guest on where you're like, I don't know if this guest is going to do good. Or I don't even know if I want to talk to this person that much.
Yeah.
But you have them on and you're learning. Now, I've had guests come on that they don't even talk. And now I have to talk to make sure the conversation is going. By the end of that podcast, you know how much of a better podcast host I am now?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, I talked to someone that had one word answers. And I kept it going for 2 hours.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
I feel that a lot.
So it's also a learning experience, bro. Because do you even want to blow up right now? Are you ready to blow up right now? That's something I always thought about. I was like, okay, are we ready to have maybe 70 episodes deep? Are we ready to have Drake? No, I don't even think we're ready for that.
Yeah, it's too early.
Right? We got to keep building to that. So I want to be when I sit down with someone massive, I want to be the best podcast host I possibly can. How do you do that? You got to podcast a shitload. You got to podcast
repetition.
Yep.
Repetition. I remember my first episode, I had like these 20 questions.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up asking them.
You didn't even ask them.
Because just the conversation flows, right? If you're asking good questions, they're giving you good answers.
Well, that's the key. You know you're a good podcast. So a lot of people ask these questions to me too. They're like, okay, well, I want to start a podcast. You have to understand the kind of person you are too, if you're a good host or not. Right? And you'll know that. You know when you walk into a room and there's 5-6 people that you bring a different energy now, and now they're talking about things, you can keep a conversation going, right? If you're not that type of person, then it's going to be very difficult. Maybe podcasting not for you, or maybe you still have to do a lot of reps. But I was always the type where I'd go into a conversation, go into a meeting, this and that. 2-3 hours we're talking about beautiful things, and I'd always leave like, fuck, that should have been a podcast. Right?
100%. Like the reason I actually started the podcast is because someone came up to me and they said, you got to be on. They didn't say a podcast, but you got to be a host for something.
Yep.
You got a lifestyle.
You're a personality of some sort,
right? And I think my personal kind of social media, my personality in general, it fed into this kind of this podcast style, right?
Of course.
And maybe I'm a bit too out there. Maybe I say too much.
I mean, bro, those are the people that blow up,
right? You gotta be. I don't want to say like I try to not be controversial because I don't like clickbait in a way.
True.
But I like to get like the real story.
Yeah.
I like to get the truth, right? And I always ask people before I go on.
Yeah.
What's off limits?
Yeah.
Right.
We do the same.
You know, you want to know, right?
Of
you don't
course.
want to make people feel uncomfortable. And this is not live, and we're not live streaming, which we're gonna.
We definitely have to. We gotta get one in.
The streaming is we're gonna talk about.
That's a huge. It's huge.
We're gonna get it on, but I feel like the time was right, and probably COVID was probably a better time because people were at home. People wanted shit to listen to. There was nothing on TV. There was no sports. There was no nothing. It was like that was so. I think you picked the right time. But let's say, how many episodes now have you done on Money Buys Happiness?
Maybe 150.
That's crazy, 150. But at what point did it click for you? That's my next question to you. And you're obviously now signed. Congratulations, always. You're signed by Full Send, the Nelk Boys. And I want to know how that came about. And tell me about where you are now and how that all started and where you see the Money Buys Happiness going.
So I think we started getting a lot of traction with the podcast around episode 50. And that's when we started talking about politics and what was happening in the world. We were being very vocal about that. And a lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like it.
Of course.
But a lot of people liked it. So that's when we first started getting traction. Our views started getting a bit better, more subs. Again, when I say more subs, we're at like 300 subs. Yeah. And then from there, we started attracting bigger guests. We had 905 Shooter on. Shout out 905 Shooter.
Shout out 905 Shooter. I got to get you on.
Yeah, you got to come on this pod, bro.
Ernesto, set it up, baby.
I got you. 905 came on, had a great podcast. I think like a 2-hour pod. He told his whole story, talked about things he's never talked about before. And then from that podcast, he posts it. Kyle from Full Sense sees it. Then on their podcast, they bring on 905 Shooter for an audio-only podcast where they mention us. They said, hey, he goes, hey, 90, like I saw you were on that Toronto pod with those 2 guys. How was that? Or who are they? They looked pretty cool, whatever. That was the first time they mentioned us. And then Anthony started having a conversation with Kyle. He just DM'd him and said, hey, we need to get you on the show. And then they started talking through DM. We go out to Miami, maybe around episode 90. This was last April. Go out to Miami. Again, nothing set in stone. We don't even know what's happening. We just went out there to do a bunch of episodes, buy a house. Go out to Miami. We have Jimmy Gambles on. Shout out Jimmy Gambles.
Shout out Jimmy Gambles.
That's my guy.
Gambling soon.
We had him on. Then Kyle saw that again. And we were still talking to Kyle. Anthony was talking to Kyle. And then one random day we're in Miami and Kyle messaged us around 5 p.m. And he said, hey, I'll be in Miami tonight if you want to do the podcast. And we had a couple hours to set it up and we made it happen. Went to do the podcast with Kyle. After the podcast with Kyle, we went out with Full Send boys, with Steve and all the boys.
It's always a time.
I blacked out. I got a concussion that night.
Always a time.
So too much Happy Dad.
Shout out Happy Dad.
Yeah.
Sponsor maybe? We don't know. We'll see.
Here we go. We'll put one on the table. We'll fucking see what we could do.
We can't get. Can we get it in Canada now?
No, not yet. Not yet. Soon.
We gotta smuggle it in, but we will.
Soon. They're making it hard. And then we went out with them. We kept the conversation going with Kyle, and we eventually got signed with them last June. Last end of May, June. So we signed with them, and then, of course, you signed with those boys.
so those boys are big. I mean, they're big, but they're not. It's funny. Like I've partied with them in the clubs in Toronto. You just see them out. When you see them out, they're a big crew. They got cameras rolling always, this and that. But you don't get starstruck. It's funny with them because Kyle lives like 10 minutes from he's from Meadowville.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in Mississauga.
Yeah.
So Kyle, like, it's like you know him and you've been with him before he was a big prankster but like it's like that guy's real. He's like one of us, right? And even though he's a big, runs a big media company now, or is the figure, the face, it's like he's not. You don't get starstruck in a way. It's like, oh, there's Kyle. And so what he did for you, I don't say what he did for you guys, but hey, you guys obviously talked, you worked at it, this and that, but it's a guy from Toronto to do what he did, and then look, he picked up you guys, and I'm not saying you guys didn't work at it because 90 episodes in before you even. I'm on episode 15, but 90 episodes in is when you kind of got your call it make or break moment.
Of course.
And to see him bring you guys in, and did you settle on your laurels then when you got signed by them? Or what changed when you went from you guys were doing it on your own to signing with them? They're a massive media company. And I mean, tell us about, I don't want to talk about money, but I'm saying like, what did they give you?
I can tell you like what the partnership was like for sure. So we were pretty much in a partnership with them where we would be under their umbrella of podcasts. Their plan was to build a network of different podcasts, so we would be the first one. We would be more of a business lifestyle type of pod as opposed to theirs. And then we have revenue shares across the board when it comes to different social platforms and merchandise and sponsors. And then obviously us trying to use their name as much as possible too, right? But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff that happened, especially at the beginning where we were plugged in with people. We went out to their headquarters in Orange County, which was a crazy experience. So I think the first thing me and Anthony thought about after getting signed was how can we make sure that we take advantage of the fact that we're signed to them now. Right?
It's not just like sign and I'm done. I made it.
Now we got to say, okay, now we have this in our portfolio. We have this kind of in our back pocket.
Yeah.
So let's use it. So that's when we started reaching out to a lot more guests. Obviously, they helped us with a lot of guests as well. We did John, we did Kyle, we did Salim, we did Steiny, we did Selena Smith. We did everyone, right?
The whole
crew, right? So Sugar Sean, they hooked us up with. So yeah, that was the partnership. It was just more so revenue shares, and it's like, okay, we'll represent you guys. You guys are powered by us now, kind of thing. Yeah. Anything you guys need, let us know. So that was the deal as a whole. Took a few months to kind of nail it down though.
Okay, as a podcaster, is the goal? I mean, talk to me like the cameras are off and the mics are off.
Yeah,
I've done 15 episodes. I've done everyone from famous Lebanese singers to my grandmother.
Yeah.
And everyone always wants to put me in a niche market, and I'm just said it's not my style. I want to interview whoever wants to be interviewed.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't understand it because they're not connected to me, and I've kind of done the first 15 episodes in a way like, who do I have a story with? Mm-hmm. But what I realized is
this is the most chemistry for you, right?
It's the most chemistry. It's the most I have a great conversation, and I think people see that when they watch and they look at that, they're like, okay, this guy, he's real, he's authentic. But at the same time, we might have a story in the club that would be hilarious. We're talking about a couple before we went on air about how we're connected.
Yeah.
Through a couple females. Shout out all of you.
Oh my
Shout
God.
out all of you. Shout out all of you. We love you. But Bella,
there you go.
But is a success of a podcast, the host, the guest. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I got to get some big names on here soon because I can't keep running through my Rolodex and just having kind of personal conversations with people. And even though it's edited and it's this and that, whatever. What's the next stage? For me, do I keep going with these kind of personal local relationships, or is it like just go for it? Like go for it.
What's your goal? What's your goal with the podcast? Do you see yourself doing it for 20 years, or do you see yourself doing it for 5 years and saying, okay, that was fun. I made some money. I met a lot of people. Let's move on to something else.
I love branding, Ernesto. I love branding. I love building a brand. If I wear something blue, my podcast logo is blue. I want my car to be blue. I want my underwear to be blue. I love branding. Mm-hmm. So I think I've built a personal brand.
Yep.
Crystal, Leb Profit. I think that helped with Zibodcast.
100%.
But I want to see this become a brand.
Yes.
I want to see it branded around, and I am the brand, but I want people to know that when they see Zibodcast logo or whatever, that it's a brand. So I want to build a brand which will then cater to everything business-wise. Like you said, merchandise and this and that.
Of course.
So where's the next kind of...
So if I was you, I mean, just as a podcast host in general, I believe the best thing you can do as a podcast host when it comes to your episodes, conversations, styles of conversations, I believe balance is the best thing. For someone like you, for someone that wants to talk about everything, right? So what I mean by balance... Bring on a big guest. Next episode, do it just yourself.
Right.
Next episode, bring on someone random.
Those self episodes, they work when it's just...
Here's the thing. As a podcast host, you're going to get to a point one day where you say, okay, well, I'm a great podcast host. I have a great podcast. I've had great guests. But I also noticed that my audience doesn't know much about me, which... It's not a mistake I made earlier on. It was just a different time. But if I was to start a podcast today, I would make the podcast more about myself than the guest.
Interesting.
Because I'm a big believer in personal brand, as you mentioned. And again, I can have all the best guests in the world. And you can watch 10 episodes with me and my favorite guests. But you'll leave each episode saying, well, I don't know much about Ernesto. Right? So because of the audience and because of people's attention, you have to make sure that they also know you, because that's going to help you get from guest to guest. Not the guest.
Right.
You're going to notice soon, okay, you know what? I noticed that I got this guest, this many people watched. Very cool. But I did this one on my own and got the same views.
So people start to watch for you.
Well, you look at Joe Rogan, for example, on the highest level. People are watching for Joe Rogan. He has the biggest guests, but they're watching to see how he reacts to the guests.
How he interacts.
And because you have a personality, people are going to say, oh, that's a great guest. Sako's a great guest. But I've heard Sako's story, but why am I going to watch this now? Because he's interviewing him.
Right.
And I know that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to say some shit though.
The biggest guys out there, right? You look at them and you say, okay, well, you say PBD, you say Andrew Schultz, you say Russell Brand, you say Ben Shapiro. These guys, people are watching for them.
Yeah.
So at the start, I was more like, you know what? I'll be the host. I love hosting people. I love hearing people's stories. But as we began to grow, we said, okay, but to pivot, let's say into a live stream, or to pivot into a different series of content, people have to know us. Now, we're blessed in a way where we had a personal brand to go off of. A lot of people do not have that.
100%.
Right? So I would suggest finding a balance. Start the podcast. If you are someone that is niched and you are someone that really is an expert in one thing, then for sure, niche it down, go hard into that niche and see what your audience likes and see what you like. But if you're someone that wants to have a lifestyle podcast, again, I'm going to go back to it. Don't think so hard about every episode because you're trying to get to episode 10,000.
Right.
So episode 17 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just got to learn from it.
Yeah.
Right? Find the balance, bro. I think that you have enough of a network to find that balance and say, okay, let's bring on this female DJ, but I'll also bring on my dad. And I'll also do just me. I think you doing that style continuously will be the best for you. Mixing in more content of yourself and your beliefs and your values. Because as podcast hosts, sometimes we get lost and we say, okay, it's all about the guests. Let's make sure that we got that clip of them saying that. That was huge. And sometimes we forget about ourselves. And like, think about how much knowledge you have that you can put out there.
100%.
Right?
100%.
So I've been starting to do that recently too.
And so you've done now some episodes that, like, you just did an episode at SoFi Stadium. Which I'm a big sports guy.
That place was insane, man.
How fucked was that place?
Dude, I've been to AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys, which is very, very big.
Jerry's World. Shout out Jerry.
Jerry's a legend. And I was already in awe. And then I went to SoFi and I was like, I feel like I'm in the future. I feel like I jumped 20 years ahead.
It's like that.
Because the area it's in is all dead, right? It's all just like land. And then you just see this massive...
It's like an alien ship.
Oh my God. It was beautiful, man. But yeah, those kind of experiences, right? Those are doors that have opened because we've gone so
You ever
hard.
get starstruck? I mean, let's talk about PBD. Because you did the pod with him, and that guy, I love that guy. I love his temperament. I love the way he talks. I love the conviction that he talks with.
Yep.
Do you ever get starstruck? You've done a lot of big episodes, big names. Tell me about some of those episodes, and does it ever like, fuck, like, I'm in front of this guy?
Of course. I think PBD was one of them. And again, I was probably 140 episodes deep when I sat down with PBD.
Right.
And I was still like, holy shit, Patrick Bet-David's in front of me.
That's the pinnacle,
right? Because I've been watching his content for years.
Of course, we all have.
I would say him, probably Dave Grutman, just because he's such a intimidating presence, but he wants to be. That's like his vibe. He wants
to be like that.
Like we walked into his penthouse condo and it was like he was like on FaceTime with Kim K and then he's calling Victoria Beckham and then he just sits down, he's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, right? Like
fuck.
So he's a boss. I think everyone else, not really, man. I mean, I was in nightlife before, so I was around celebrities a lot. I already met Drake a bunch of times, LeBron James, all these guys where I already felt that starstruck. I think PBD really hit me though, because I literally apply things that he says every day to my life. So it's more impactful like that.
100%. 100%.
But you're gonna get it happens. It happens.
I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I feel like,
of course, you're gonna sit down with someone one day and be like, I like you're gonna be looking at them and trip out that you're looking at them. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like talking to the guest. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you just get blocked. Yeah, cut.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like in your head, right? So yeah, I mean, it's also what I've noticed. It's a lot about setting too to make you comfortable. So I have some of the best podcasts I've ever done in here.
Yeah,
because it's my home base.
It's homey. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When I go into someone else's studio,
SoFi Stadium, or
you're
whatever.
in SoFi, or you're in someone's studio, you're at No Jumper, or you're at Full Send, and you're like, oh, this is a performance.
Cheers.
But again,
cheers. Ciao. Kesa. Cheers. Ciao.
But again, when you put yourself in those situations, you're growing so much as a person. Because even some of those conversations that I've had, I've been nervous to go into them. I'm like, oh my God, what if this goes this way, or if I don't say the right thing? Or people think just because someone's 150 episodes deep, they don't have these thoughts anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone has these thoughts.
I know.
Right? You can't think that way. You got to go into it and say, okay, you know what? Think about how you're gonna feel when you're done that podcast with PBD.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you did it. You finally
did it, and you learned so much from it, and now you're more confident in yourself. Because I sat down with Patrick Bet-David. Now I'm gonna move different.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about your personal growth when you go into these podcasts.
100%.
Because you'll be like, wow. And I'm sure you already see it, right? You're probably...
man, from episode 1 to now,
yep,
15 episodes, 16 episodes, it's like night and day.
100%.
I don't prepare. I sit down. I know the guest I'm going into. Maybe they have a life story, this and that. You talk about that a little bit. But it's like night and day. I feel like night and day. I feel like, I'm arrogant when I say this, but I feel like if PBD was to sit down, not that I would be the perfect host or the polished host.
You can have a conversation.
But I can have a conversation.
Of course.
And that's all this is, at the end of the day, it's having a good conversation. We cut it a bit. We edit it a bit. We make sure everything looks nice. But you're having a conversation. You're sitting down having a conversation.
That's it, right? And you leave the conversation so happy. You leave friends with the other person. I mean, I think every single podcast we've done, we've left, and the guest has said, anytime you guys want, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You know?
You just got to make them feel at home. That's what I found out about the guests.
You get them comfortable, right? And I think the best way to start a podcast episode, right, is like what you did with me, is talk a little bit about how you even got here. What I like to say is like, bring us back to, let's say, when you were a kid.
When you were nothing, yeah.
When you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you were 14 years old, what your life was like.
Yeah.
Get them comfortable. Now they start talking about things that they remember and they're happy about it. It's nostalgic for them. And now they're looking at you like a friend.
I want to just because Donna was my last episode and she watched it yesterday when everyone else watched it. And if you haven't watched it, go fucking watch it because
go watch that shit.
Go watch that shit. Come on, man. It's an hour of your time.
And go subscribe while you're there.
Like and subscribe while you're at it.
There you go.
But she said to me, she's like, I love it because we talked for an hour, half an hour about her as a person, half an hour about her as a DJ.
Yes.
And she's like, people have never seen the personal, the human side of me.
It's because you have to remember a lot of these people, and especially when you get to bigger scale, right? You're at a higher scale. Let's say we're doing Jeremy Piven, okay?
Which is coming, by the way.
Shout out Jeremy Piven.
Shout out Ari Gold.
Shout out Ari Gold.
My childhood was based on trying to be like you.
Right?
Yeah. You can tell anyone you want to fuck off and you just be you. And shout out Ari Gold.
Yeah, we're trying to lock in some bigger guests.
How's that? How does that work? How does that even... Tell me, because I don't know. Because
I think what we do a lot of is reach out to people and not give a fuck what happens. A lot of people are scared to just DM people. I don't know why. Just DM people. You've never had access to celebrities and influencers and athletes like you do today. So why don't you just send them a DM?
Everyone's a message away, 100%.
Right? Everyone's just scared that nothing's going to happen, which that already happened.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
Not sending a message, nothing's happening.
There you go, 100%. Right? So, I mean, we shamelessly DM, put it that way. We will DM you 50 times in a row if we need to. We will DM you from 50 different accounts if we need to. We are persistent and consistent as fuck, right? And I think any podcast can do that. Here's the thing. If you have a podcast, what you have to understand is you have leverage. You have leverage in today's internet space, in today's online space. You have leverage, you have power. What does that mean? That means people will look at you like you can help them because you have a platform.
Yes.
At any scale, you can have 100 subs. Yeah. You have to remember something. We think there's a lot of podcasts out there, but there's really not still. So if you are that one person with a podcast in your network of 1,000 people, now everyone's looking at you like that's the guy who has the podcast. Yeah. If we need something, we can go to him.
Telling you, people
I want to go on your podcast now, for example. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to treat you real nice. I'm going to make sure that you like me.
You're going to butter me up. Yeah.
I got to butter you up.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm not saying that that's the point of having a podcast. I'm saying you have to realize that you do have that power in today's day, that you have a platform that you're providing to people, and you have an audience, and you're providing content. That's the biggest thing.
Content is the new currency, man.
So the biggest thing 3 years ago when we started is how are we going to get these guests on our show? Why are they going to come? Okay, we have a podcast. That's good. But what are they getting out of it? So we would give them 15 reels, cover art, clips, photos, boom, boom, high quality, everything 4K, 8K, 16K, doesn't matter. Now we're sending this guest for the first time in their life so much content of themselves that they're so happy.
Yeah. Facts.
They're so happy.
100%.
So if you can provide value in that way, ours was content because we had the agency.
Yeah.
But there's different ways to provide value, right? I know guys that they have a podcast on the side, but they have their main business. Now they use their podcast to kind of funnel new clients through and say, you know what, this guy, we just had a nice podcast. He can be a potential client. Why don't you learn about my business? Yeah. So not everything's about having 1 million subs.
Yeah.
There's people
people get too caught up in that.
You can't get caught up in the numbers because if you look at the numbers, you will get very demoralized. You will stop doing what you love if you stare at the numbers, right? And if you are looking at the numbers, for example, and you only see 100 views, think about you being in a room with 100 people sitting down and watching you speak for an hour. And then tell me if you're mad about the 100 views again.
Exactly.
You're not.
You gotta compare it.
You have to have perspective, right? The problem is people start a podcast and now they just compare it to Full Send Podcast.
Right. Can't.
How are you going to do that? Those guys have been creating content for 15 years. Yeah. They're bigger than you, of course. Do they have a different audience though? Yes. So I think a lot of people need to understand themselves when they start it. They're starting a podcast saying, I want to be like you. No. Why? I already have a podcast that's like
your own niche. Carve your own niche.
Carve your own niche and be your own person, right? You don't. The beautiful thing about today's day is that uniqueness and being rare is incentivized by the online world. If you are unique and you are saying something different or you are acting different, the online world will incentivize you. It'll tell you, hey, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing.
But I feel sometimes, Ernesto, don't lose your train of thought.
Yeah.
Because I love the way you're talking and you're speaking from the heart. But I feel like producer Terry always tells me reels.
Yeah.
Right? It's what gets people to listen to the actual pod.
Of course.
Because if that moment happened somewhere in that hour or whatever, I want to watch that.
Of course.
So having the reels, we cut it, we edit it, we do all that stuff. That's production.
Of course.
But having that moment somewhere in there, it's like reels. Like my whole podcast timeline is reels.
Of course.
Because it's drawing people in. It's getting them,
But you need that. Why not? That's what's going to get them in.
100%.
And those, we've had reels. Here's an example. This is actually a recent example. We had a YouTube short, okay, from an episode that only had 10,000 views. And I'm only saying only because I'm comparing it to other ones. It only had 10,000 views. We posted a short. The short gets 12 million on YouTube.
Crazy.
40,000 more views went to the episode.
Because
of the short.
Right.
6 months later.
Yeah.
By the way,
you don't know when it's gonna hit. By the way,
you have no idea.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So again, it's like this, and this is something that I have to say to people that are publishing podcasts. Right. I know a lot of people out there that are saying, you know what, I'm just doing audio only, or I'm just doing video only. Right. It's nonsense. Let's say you have a product. Let's say you have a nice. We'll keep it Italian. Let's say you have a nice tomato sauce, and I say, dude, you can put this tomato sauce right now in 15 different stores in 15 different markets. And you're saying to me, I'm good with the 2 stores. Why not take advantage of it, right? So again, people don't understand the power of it. So if I'm posting a reel on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, IG, Snapchat,
everything.
so I'm getting 4 different networks from one reel. Hopefully they transition to my episode itself.
Yeah.
But even if they don't, I don't care.
Yeah, because you just put it out there. It doesn't cost anything really.
But that's our name too. It's out there. As long as people see it, that's all that matters to me. Again, we are so long term where I'm not thinking what's our numbers this month? Yeah. What's our numbers next month? Yeah. I'm thinking how much more content can we make in different ways and give more value to people.
Yeah. So I want to speak personally for a second. I kind of had this vision where I'm going to do season 1, like 20 episodes, mix in here, there, different people. And then I kind of wanted to put some money into marketing it because like you said, some episodes have 400 views. Some episodes have 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
Which is amazing. But by the way, the fact that you just started and you're getting those kind of views is amazing.
I think my personal brand, call it Crystal, that profit, I think that's fed into, because when I post, my podcast, let's say my podcast Instagram doesn't have a tenth of what my personal brand does,
of course.
right?
But that's how it starts. What you're doing is smart. You're saying, who do I know? I got to make sure at least, if I know 20,000 people, I got to make sure at least 20,000 people know about my podcast first.
Yeah.
Then we can worry about the next people. The beautiful thing about having the personal and having the pod is 2 different networks. Now people are going to follow you on the pod that don't even know you.
Right.
It's
a
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful thing. So
100%.
Keep using your personal. Once you notice that, you know what? We're like the same. My podcast brand and my personal brand are at the same level. Wow, this is interesting.
The fucking shit out of them.
Then your podcast is going to be bigger than you.
Yeah. Because the pod, the guest, I think it's guest dependent in a way that,
of course,
like now you can invite on and collab with someone on like, let's say an episode or a reel, whatever. So now when we post a reel of this episode, it's going to be the podcast and Ernesto or whatever. People, I think a lot of people do not understand, first of all, how to market.
Yep.
Right. So if you don't, neighborhood,
we got you.
We'll help you for sure.
We got you.
But there's a technique, there's an art to it, right?
Yeah, of course.
But people have to understand, like, the playbook is given to us.
Yes.
How to use it is not.
There you go.
But the tools.
But even the recipes are out there. Recipes are out there.
Go on fucking Google if you don't know how to do a reel or you don't know how to like cross promote or whatever.
The recipes are there, right? And I think here's another thing I want to say too is I give you a lot of respect too because you thought about doing this and you did it. You thought about it, you put a plan together, got the pieces, and you did it. You didn't overthink it. You didn't go ask 40 people if you should do it. You didn't research for a year straight if you wanted to do a podcast or not. You just did it.
Yeah.
Right? Which a lot of people that I speak to or that come to me for advice, they're asking me as many questions as they can just to beat around the bush of them not starting. Right? Where it's like, why don't you just start this now? Like there was a guy that messaged me the other day and he said, I really want to get into this content. I want to get into content, food content. I want to tour restaurants. I want to show people neighborhoods. And he's in real estate currently. and he makes a lot of money in real estate. Let's say he makes 6 figures in real estate a year. And he's asking me these questions. He says, hey, Ernesto, like, what do you think about this? What do you think? Should I do this? What do you think about this? Hang up the phone, calls me back 2 hours later. Hey, I'm thinking about this. You really think I should do this though, right? And I'm like, dude, the fact that you're asking me like this, I don't even think you should do it now.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're in a position that you have a side hustle, you have a main hustle that can support your side hustle, who else do you need to convince? You have to go.
You have to go.
You have to go, right? And too many people need this convincing where it's like, oh, I don't know if I should risk this, or I don't know if I should do this. Well, the money's tight, or this and that. The person that's going to be successful didn't think about all those things. They said, you know what? That's a risk I'm willing to take. Let's move.
Yeah.
The most successful people I know, when they think about doing something, it's done within the next 24 to 48 hours. It's done. Guys, I think we should, hey, team, I think we should get this on board. Or, hey, guys, I think we should partner with this company. Hey, guys, let's hire another 3 staff for our account management.
Yeah.
48 hours is done. That's how you move. Then you know if it works or it doesn't work. But if you're going to sit there and ask everyone to convince you to follow your dream, it's no longer your dream. It is no longer your dream.
It's their dream. It's not your dream.
Yep.
I think when it clicked for me to do the podcast, and I live my life like this, no matter what you do, you're going to piss people off.
Yeah, of course.
And no matter what you do, you're going to make some people happy. The people that you're going to make happy, value them more. And it's not about making myself happy, because I'm happy doing the pod. I love doing this, meeting different people. I'm not saying we've met before in passing, but all these people that I have on the pod, save for my closest family and friends, you don't actually sit down and have a conversation with them. So this gives you the forum to do that. And I learned a long time ago, I'm not an asshole. People, when they meet me, they realize that I'm a good guy and I have good morals and good integrity, but I don't care if I say something that's going to upset someone.
Yes.
Because if you understand why I said it, I want to say this. My good friend Hadi, DJ Hadi, struggles with a lot. Anxiety, depression, everything. Like we all do. We all deal with that kind of shit. But I had a full-on heart-to-heart with him the day before the pod because he said, I'm not going to do it. I'm nervous. I said, if you don't do this, we should seriously reevaluate our relationship, because I'm asking you as a friend to do it for me. We sit down, we have the best conversations when the cameras are on and the microphones are not in our face.
Yeah.
So why can't you do that when they're there? Forget they're there.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to think, but forget they're there. He ended up doing it, and he said, I've never felt better. Like, it made me and empowered me, because it's like I finally did it.
Yeah.
I told him, I asked him, he said no. I asked him, he said no. I asked him, so he finally, I had a heart-to-heart with him, and I said, fucking do it. Just fucking, I don't give a fuck, do it. Because you're a presence on your own. You're a brand on your own. People love you. People love your energy. And so when I realized when I had to do this was when I just said, fuck it. I said, there's not going to be a better time. And I've been putting it off 2-3 years. During COVID, I wanted to do it, like when you guys started. Yeah. And maybe I would be where you guys are now. And I hope one day I eventually, graduate.
You're on your own path, bro.
I'm on my own path. Yeah. And I'm like literally doing as I see fit. People now, we talked about this before we went on air, ask me to be on.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, but what are you gonna?
That was the leverage I was talking about.
Right.
That was the leverage I was talking about. So that's something you have to expect, man. Right. You're starting. You have a platform where it's going to continue to grow. And like I said, you can have a platform with 500 subscribers, 5,000, 50,000. It's still so powerful to the people around you. We look at it as it's nothing because we're comparing ourselves to the Bradley Martins, and we're comparing ourselves to. You can't do that because we're in our own lane. We're having our own journey, right? So I think everyone has the potential to create a platform that can be used to help others, right?
I think you gotta have a personality. I think you gotta have a little bit of a personality.
Of course.
A little cockiness, a little arrogance. You gotta sit down in this chair or in this seat and you gotta be like, I can control this episode. I don't care if I have PBD next to me. I don't care if I have Ernesto next to me. But this is my podcast.
Of course.
I control it. I run it. I own it. I always tell my people, I'll never disrespect you. I'll never cut it the wrong way, make you look like a whore, make you look like an asshole. But I want you to know that when you're on my pod, this is my pod, and I'm gonna ask you the good stuff. I'm gonna ask you the tough stuff.
Yep.
I want to know, like, tell me, did you ever think you were gonna fail? Did you ever think that MBH and all this, you're gonna fucking hard fail? You have one episode does 10 views, 20 views, and you're gonna fail. Tell me about the failures. Everyone sees the show. Everyone sees you signed by Nelk. Everyone sees you in SoFi doing episodes, PVD. But they don't know that, like, more people watch your episode now. You drop an episode tomorrow, 50,000, 100,000 views, which is unbelievable. God bless you. I hope you go to 1 million views. But did they watch the 10 views or the 20 views or the first 5-10 episodes?
Yeah, dude.
I did my research when I had you on, and I said, okay, this is where he started. Look where he is now. But talk about your failures, because I know there have been some. We all go through them, and how that shaped you to where you are today.
Man,
Have a drink first, by the way.
I'm gonna need a fucking. I'm gonna
Hey,
fucking need
Crystal
the whole bottle.
He doesn't. I'm not gonna shy away, Bello. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah, that's it's a loaded question because I've failed so much, you know, and I've been failing. I've been fucking up my whole life, you know, like I've been making mistakes my whole life. You know, when it comes to business decisions, I've made mistakes. When it comes to family, I've made mistakes. When it came to relationships, I made mistakes. When it came to money, I made so many mistakes. Like I could sit here and tell you about all the money I lost just from making the wrong decisions, you know? Business decisions, like I said, it could be business, it could be lifestyle, it could be whatever. But I think the last 5 years, man, to be honest, I've learned a lot about myself. Because I finally took the time to just look back and say, like, where did I fuck up? Where did I do good? I got to make sure I don't fuck up like that again. There was times where, dude, I might have had $50 to my name and I had like rent to pay. I had employees to pay. I had to go to the club. So mentally having that in my mind. Defeated, right? Here's the thing about the industry that I decided to take my path on, from nightlife to marketing to podcasting, is that when you decide that you're going to do something and you decide you're going to go hard, you cannot expect people to understand you. That was the biggest mistake I made. I was like a great promoter, so I'm like, I should expect everyone around me to understand that I'm a great promoter.
Like a people pleaser in a way, like
people pleaser, but also like I just felt misunderstood this whole time.
You feel like people should see the world through your lens.
Yes, which is so wrong to think about, right? Like you have your own lens and you have that lens for a reason. If everyone thought or saw through that same lens you did, you would not be unique at all, right? So I think what I learned, and I try to preach this to everyone, is that if you feel something is working, and you can only feel this yourself, you can only feel it inside of you. If you feel you're doing the right thing, if you feel like you're on the right path, no one else's opinion matters at that point. And when I say no one, it could be your own mom's opinion. It could be your dad's opinion. You have to stay true to what you believe in. I believe in that we all have a gut feeling. I believe it comes from a higher power. And if you believe in that and if you follow that, you don't need anyone else's approval to do anything. That's where I fucked up. I was always looking for approval. Like, hey, I'm going to go do this now. But what do you guys all think? You think it's sick too, right?
Yeah. No.
Why do you have to do that? Yeah. I wanted that for approval. I just wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
But what I always felt something inside of me, from promoting to all the way to today. If I feel like I'm doing the right thing, promoting, I was like, you know what? More people are knowing me. More people say hi to me. Yeah. More people are asking me for things. I'm learning more about the business. I'm meeting more higher end people that are in the top tier of their career. I'm doing something right. Maybe I'm getting fucking drunk 3-4 times a week. That's the part that people misunderstood me for.
Right.
But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, week by week, I'm growing so much as a person and my network's growing. Yeah. So I think if you really feel like something is working deep down inside of you, then just keep doing it. That's all, because people leave the party too early. Yeah. I'm a big believer in leaving the party. You have to leave the party when the party's done. Okay? But don't leave the party early, especially when you don't know the result of it. So try something, but try it for a long time, and try it without giving a fuck what other people think. Then tell me how you really feel. Because people like to do things in life just to please other people. And I think that's the worst thing you can do, is just go around in life and try to please other people instead of yourself. I was doing that for a long time, man.
It's words to live by, and I think this is gonna hit with people that listen, because a lot of people are sitting there, like you said, and thinking about, should I start this business? Should I start this podcast? Should I do whatever?
Yeah.
And you just sometimes have to go for it. I mean, on the episode with Hadi, he said something and that it resonated with me. He said, your faith has to be stronger than your fear.
Yep.
Your faith has to be stronger than your fear. And it's such a fucking bar.
Yep.
Because you are, by not going for that thing, by not going for that job interview, that business proposal, you're failing by not even going. You're failing, because there's only two options: you either succeed or you fail. And if you don't even go for it, you already failed.
Yep.
So, like what you did with the pod, what you're doing with the pod, what I hope I eventually do with you, beside you, whatever, this is a platform. This is a conversation. And I love doing it. And day one, I was scared. I was nervous. And now it's just like, let's go. Terry, we're doing here. We're doing there. And I'm all over the fucking place. I'm in restaurants one day. I'm in studios another day.
It's a lot of work, bro.
It's a lot. People don't see how much work it is, eh? It's a lot of work.
That's what I wanted to say, too, is just that even when you do decide that you're going to do something, it's not going to all be fucking rainbows, you know? Oh. It's actually not going to be like that at all, especially when you're building something. It's going to be 80-20 in terms of a ratio of you enjoying it and you hating your fucking life. Yeah. But again, you have to do it. You just have to, because if you don't, then what the hell did you do? What did you do with your life? You did something someone else wanted you to do the whole time? Yeah. That's sad. Yeah. Right? Some people are comfortable with that. I'm personally not. But again, there's going to be dark times on your journey. That doesn't mean you're in the wrong journey. That doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. There's times in my life, bro, I was hella depressed, you know? Yeah. I was in a dark place, but no one would know that because they look at me and they're like, look at this guy. He has businesses, he's a team, he's a leader, he's this, he's that. But man, I would go home at night and I would just crawl up and be like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm not happy with my life.
Yeah, facts.
So there's those dark times. You have to get through that.
My father always said, my father's my idol, like mental compass and everything. But he always says you have to know how to lose to feel the win. You have to know what it's like to lose, to fail. So the win tastes that much. If we just win all our lives, like you don't know what it's.
I know guys that they try to fail on purpose. They're ready. They're ready for a win and they're ready for a loss just the same.
Just as much. 100%.
Right? So if you're moving through that like that through life and you're saying, okay, you know what? I'm about to do this or I'm about to make this decision. Win or loss, same thing for me. Yeah. If you move like that, you will find out what you love very fast and you will be unstoppable, like you said.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta go for it, people. I went for it. I don't want to say
But you're inspiring people too, because people that know you now are saying, fuck, like he went out and he did it.
Yeah.
And you never know who you're inspiring. Like you said, you saw people the other day, they knew you, they recognized you and stuff like that. That's what's going to keep you going, bro. Not the views, not the numbers.
You know what? I really, honestly, when I see good numbers, I like it. I love it. It's great. But I don't look at them. Because I see you the 100, 150 episodes, and it's like you're still working at it. You're still getting new guys, bigger guys. But I'm telling you, it's empowering to just keep pushing through. And you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, my episode only got 300 views, 400 views." Like you said, think about if you're in a room with 400 people.
It's not about that. Yeah. It's crazy because if you put in that perspective, we're just too used to seeing these huge numbers online.
Because everything you see online is...
You're used to seeing something with just like 8 digits, and you're like, "Wow, this thing has 30 million views," and it's like. You don't know what it even takes to get there. Like I said, that one short that we had on YouTube, it got 12 million, and that's not even like our best one. Yeah. That episode was random as fuck.
Yeah.
That was with my boy who owns a sneaker shop in Toronto. Who would have thought? I think that episode at the beginning had 2,000 views.
I think instant gratification, Ernesto, is what the people are looking for.
But that's why they're not successful.
Exactly.
That's exactly why.
Sometimes you gotta,
It's all a momentum game. This thing called life is called momentum. It's all momentum. Podcasting is momentum. If you stop your pod for a couple months, it's like you didn't have a pod.
Exactly. Let's say I take a week off, or I don't have every Monday an episode or whatever, or scheduling doesn't work or this or that. People, did you stop? This and that. People recognize that. They notice that, right?
Of course.
And the best people in this game are the content creators that are every day. There's not a day goes by where you don't post something.
Of course.
Personally or professionally, whatever. And I try to do that. And sometimes people say it's too much. I say, if you knew, you knew.
No, but the people saying too much, it's not the person you're after anyways.
Yeah.
You want the person that's saying, yo, where are you? I haven't seen an episode in a week.
Yeah. 100%.
Or yo, you remember that episode you had with your dad? He said that one thing, bro. It changed my whole life. Mm-hmm. That's gonna get you through another 50 episodes.
100%.
Right? And that's the kind of messages that we get, and that keeps us going. So we don't care about the numbers at the end of the day, because even if it gets 20 views, out of those 20 people, if 3 really listen, their life has already changed.
100%. And it's just about changing, one person's perception or mindset and making them kind of go to the next stage. And listen, we all go through shit. I want to comment on that.
Of
course.
All
go through shit.
Of course.
When my grandfather died, I thought my world was over. He was my everything. Every day I saw him, we drank together, we partied, we laughed together. One day he was gone. Where the fuck do you go in life? You know what I'm saying?
Sorry about that, bro.
Listen, that was now more than 5 years ago, but I still feel him. I still pray to him. I still talk to him. But when he passed, I took 6 months away from everybody.
Yeah.
And some people knew, some people didn't. Where the fuck have you been? We missed you. We miss you. I miss seeing your stories, this and that. Take your time. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to, whatever. But if you want this, if you want to go and get it, if you want to be money buys happiness, if you want to be full send, no, you gotta just at some point say, fuck it. I'm gonna go for it. Whatever your passion is.
You
Whatever
have to.
your passion is. We all have different passions.
Yeah.
If you love selling fruit on the side market, be the best fucking fruit salesman you can be.
Yeah.
That's what this whole life is about, right? We're only here for what? I'm 30 now. I'm going to be, 80, 90 years in this. The world's been there before me and it's going to be there after me. Make a mark. Go for it. What do you got to lose?
I think it's the easiest it's ever been to make a mark
Oh my
in
God.
the world.
All the tools now, man. You
Yeah.
have all the tools. You wake up, you look at your phone, you're in touch with 5 billion people, 3 billion people, whatever. So
Yep.
the world's a grand place. Listen, I don't want to talk everyone's ear off. I don't want to talk your ear off. We have a big day planned. We're going to celebrate this pod with some other people that we know and love. Anything else? The tequila's starting to hit, but this is your floor. This is your office. This is your world.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming, bro. Honestly, keep up the pod. Don't stop.
Not gonna stop. We gotta get Anton.
Of course.
Get you on
Ant's
together.
gonna come on, no problem.
We'll get the whole fucking. We'll get PBD on one day and this and that.
We'll get everyone
coming, bro.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you having me on. Great chat.
Thank you for coming.
We're about to have some more tequila.
We're about to get really into it, by the way.
And if you're watching this, don't wait. That's all I gotta say. Just don't wait, because you're gonna wait and the time is gonna pass and you're gonna have regrets. And the worst thing in life is regrets.
Yes. It's the podcast, episode 16 now. Tara, I keep forgetting. Where are we now? 16? This is 16. Let's call that a wrap. Ernesto, it feels great to talk to someone that understands. It's like two hosts, right? And we're just spitting off each other. And you've been through everything. You are, I want to say, an idol to me, because you, right now, in your pod, are where I eventually hope to get to with Zibad.
Appreciate that, bro.
A different route, different style.
You got this.
But we're going to do it.
It's all a long-term game, baby. You got it.
100%. From the offices of Neighborhood.
Yes, we are Neighborhood Creative.
From the offices of Neighborhood Creative, we want to say thank you for joining us. The podcast episode 16 is done. Let's go get absolutely fucking hammered.
I guess so. I had no choice.
Tomorrow's day off. Cheers. The podcast episode 16 out. Thank you.
Baby.
Cheers.
تلحقها عيون الشباب